For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Indy is coming. The U.S. Nationals right around the corner. Hey, everybody. Joe Castello back with you. WFO Joe on Twitter and Instagram. Super excited. If you've been following the show over the past couple of weeks, past couple of years, you know that when Indy rolls around, we try to go big, and we have been going big over the past week. We started off with a great ignition show on Monday, then Reinhart on Tuesday, breaking it all down, the Lucas Oil Nationals. Then we had Leah Pruitt yesterday. We had Tricky Ricky with all the controversy that has been going on. This morning, we spoke with Josh Hart, and now we're going to check in with the 16-time NHRA Funny Car champion, John Force, the 5-time U.S. Nationals winner, just seconds away. So we've been telling everybody, letting you behind the curtain a little bit on WFO. We got our Facebook page. We got our YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live on Twitter. We're out there everywhere that we can be. We really want everybody to be on that YouTube channel, though. So subscribe, click the bell. But share the show. That's the best way you can help me personally, the show, all our guests, and the sport of drag racing by letting your friends know, yeah, there's a really big race coming up next weekend. It's going to be wild. And then tomorrow on the show, Courtney Enders and Jason Logan, Happy Hour, is back. Before we get into Force, I want to tell you about people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like the folks at Bernie's Speed Shop in Ocala, Florida. Of course, Phillips-Connect for the transportation industry, Smart Trailer Technology, Total Seal Piston Rings. They do piston rings for nitro cars, by the way, totalseal.com, and FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Torque Calibration Services of Australia. That's right, an Australian company wants to be involved with WFO Radio, samtech.edu, and Marvin Rodak. But right now, let's go out to California and the 16-time champ. You'll know this guy, John Force. There he is. What's up, Force? How you doing?
WFO, we're back.
We're back, baby. This is different, though. This is getting ready for the biggest drag race on the planet, the Big Go, the U.S. Nationals, a race that you've won 5 times in your career, most recently in 2019. I'm sure this one is a little different in your mind.
Yeah, because, Indy's the granddaddy. Everybody wants to win it. But they got a show within a show, not only the qualifying, but the Pep Boys shootout. I think that, they have a name for it, but
yeah, no, that's it. The All-Star Call Out. That's what it is.
Big money put into the program for the winners, which really helps the teams financially. That's where the money goes. It's broken up, but it's exciting, and we'll see where it goes.
This is something you mentioned, the call out. Let's start out right there. You watched the way it worked in Gainesville when Brittany was able to make some call outs and everyone was able to make a call out. You're not going to necessarily make a call out, but you might get called out.
Yeah.
What do you think of that call out stuff? It's grudge racing. It's kind of, getting away from the ladder. It's designed to make a racer feel, have to make a choice and feel like, what do you mean my team? You're calling me out. What do you think of it? You've been around a while.
Well, I just like racing, okay? And it doesn't matter who I race, a world champion or a girl or a female champion. It doesn't matter. I like driving my hot rod. I like the camaraderie of a team, pitching my sponsors like Chevrolet and Peak. I mean, this stuff goes on and on. Cornwell Tools, Auto Club. So at the end of the day, I'm going to enjoy it. But the one thing that I do remember years ago at one of the shootouts, and in the early days, you struggled to pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? And we still struggle, but sponsors keep us out here. And that's why I'm always throwing plugs in for Frank Teagues and Montana Brand and Flavor Pack and Monster. But you needed the money, but yet you're racing 2 races in one. So if you're going down a road and you're trying to qualify, and this actually happened one year to me, that I wasn't qualified in the race, and I'm in the shootout, and we're looking at our opponent. We got one more qualifying run, and we better get this thing or we're not going to make Indy. And everybody wants to qualify at Indy. And we had to look at, obviously the competition was outrunning us, and we discussed, do we go after him and take the chance of smoking the tires and not make it Indy, or do we calm it down and make it go A to B? And whatever that decision was made was by the crew chief. But we went A to B, and as I remember, we lost the round, but we made Indy. So you got to figure out a way. You got to play a strategy. It's like going in on the first day of qualifying, and you only got one run. You want to make sure you're in the show because the next day it could rain. But when you got 2 runs, you can hit it a little bit different. And that'll get you in trouble sometimes, but I leave that to the crew chiefs. And we do Daniel Hood and Fabrizi. They do a good job with that. So, but it's fun. There's a big payday at the end of it, but there's 2 paydays. So you can learn who you're racing. You may have to, when it's over, like Ron Capps said today, we were doing a show on this earlier. Ron Capps said, when it's all done, win or lose, you got to start the next day. And got to get your head right and get into that ball game. So it's going to be exciting. But what I like, Indy's our biggest race, to put in another type of a show with Pep Boys putting up a big purse. That's exciting because it's really going to take care of the fans. It's worth the price of a ticket.
Absolutely. And that's what we're hoping for. And it wasn't long ago you were beckoning everyone, come out to the races. I think that was last year in Indy. And here we are now, and we've had some great crowds, the Lucas Oil Nationals and Brainerd. That was a great crowd. We've had some really strong crowds. Seattle was tough because it was so hot. Okay. I'm letting those people off the hook because it was pretty brutal out there. And, but hopefully for Indy, it's going to be great. I wonder, John, do you remember going to your first U.S. Nationals or the first time you went? I'm sure it was back in the day, maybe not even as a driver, but someone was saying to me the other day, Joe, do you think Indy still has the gravitas of the biggest race that it used to have? And I said, among people who love drag racing, it does. If you're just a casual person, maybe not, but if you love drag racing, it does. Do you remember your first Indy experience?
Well, it's like Daytona, for NASCAR, it's like the Indy 500 for IndyCar. People don't forget, but especially a crew member, a team owner, or a driver like me, to be part of this big machine of NHRA and to go into this race. It never changes in me. I fought to try to help get the crowds back and do my part. I talked to them to get off the couch and come to the races because I truly do love our sport of NHRA drag racing, and I love the people in it. It's really kind of funny. I grew up in a trailer court. I drove a truck, the camaraderie of a football team, and that's what I'm still living. 60 years later, from junior high and high school, that's where I came from. So my love for the sport never changes. And my love for driving the car, people say, you get out the other end and you got beat, and you're all excited because I'm excited to see another kid, whether older or young, beat me. When DeJoria took me out at the Night Under Fire at Norwalk in the final, I was pumped up, running over to hug her because she won. You know what I mean? Even as bad as I wanted to win, if the opponent can get the job done, well, that's really what the sport's all about. And that's what will grow the sport. And so in the Worsham family, they're all friends of ours, Dad and of course the kid, Worsham. And so to see his team win, I congratulated him. I was all over the place. So, so in the middle of it, I approach it different than a lot of people, but I just truly love it.
No, it's great. And we love that you love it. been doing this a long time, right? And carrying the ball for NHRA drag racing. Got some cool stuff. Got the big, the game getting ready to drop. There's a lot of news out there. Tony Stewart is now in the sport. You're excited, but you can't be excited every second of every day, John. That's got to be a bit of a challenge to get up and be John Force, right? Like on command when people want you. You did a press conference earlier today, right? All the drivers are on there, and it's like, all right, Force, time to be Force, go. That's got to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, but I wasn't on today. I just a lot going on in my life right now. A lot of decisions to be made, and babies being born. My daughter Courtney and Ray Hall are getting ready, but a lot of other things. Business, dealing with the health is an overload, and thank God Robert, he's right in the middle of all of that, and yet you want to focus on your race car, and sometimes you can't. You get to a race and you don't even know what's going on. You don't know that a crew member broke his foot and he's not there. There's just things you don't know. And the day, going in, Caps, nobody knows me better than Robert Height and Ron Caps. Ron Caps and I go way back. And Caps called me out like, Force, what's going on here? Like, you're not talking, you're not plugging sponsors. And that's my job, to get Peak and NK Seed and all these people out there. And what the uniform kind of says it all, but I was just off today in what was going on and trying to understand still how it all works. Robert spent 20 minutes explaining to me the call out on the shootout and where we're at, and he says Caps is fourth, and I said, well, no, he's under me in the points. Well, in the 1 points he's under me, but
sure.
Qualifying he was ahead of me. I should pay attention. So I'm guilty of that. So I'm trying to get into this right now. Maybe I haven't had enough Monster Energy.
There you go. No, you're doing. See, I think I'm a little different. I like mellow John Force. I think there's a lot to be learned from mellow, well thought out John Force. The guy that everybody likes to see, Elvis at 1,000 feet. All that guy is great. That guy's great. But mellow John Force, there's a lot to learn. All right, let me ask you about Tasca. Man, this guy has said a lot of great things about you over the past couple of races, called you a superhuman being and the ability to drive these cars and all of these things. And he was like, how much you told him your secrets when you were helping him get his program going, and like really great stuff. I don't know if you heard any of it because it's in the media center, right? You ran him in 2 final rounds and you came up short, but at least you're in final rounds. You got a race win, but just let's size up some of the competition, John. You're right in the middle of it, but he's emerging. Obviously Caps, obviously Hagan, Robert, and I think you're in the middle of this with your guys. What about you? How do you size up this 7 races to glory now?
Well, I think the fact you go by the number one guy, Robert Height, you look at him, he's obviously, the most consistent, and he's up there in the fastest. Hagan was right there. He fell off a little bit, but he come back. He was in a final. But Ron Caps, he's in the hunt. Never leave Cruz Petragon out. I love him to death. He's one of the best because he does everything. Drives his own truck if he had to. Promotes it. Works on the car. Tasca got hot. I congratulated him. He took me out at Seattle in the final, and his car, was struggling, but they go through that. And Mike Neff and John Schaefer, those guys stepped up. They gave him a hot rod in his driving. He got hot in the seat, what he's doing. I'm trying to find myself in the seat. I'm not where I want to be. But it's going to be tough. And then there's just so many. Wilkerson, DeJoria, you go down the list, they're all tough. Anybody can beat you on any given day. And then the track can beat you. Things can happen out there. A tricky track there at Brainerd. But at the end of it all, I'm excited about this. I'm approaching it a little bit different. I want to not think about it every day. You know what I mean? I want to get all my other work caught up. So when I do get to Indy next week, we're doing a big with Peak. we're doing a big media day there at my shop, and we're going to be on the radio with the radio station doing stuff and talking about the race. We want to hype the sport. At my age, I've done it all, and I don't want to quit doing it, but I want an opportunity for my grandchildren, as well as my daughter, Brittany, to have an opportunity in the future. And so I have a job to do to pay back to what the sport has given to me. And that's living it every day, 7 days a week. It's all I know. But for me, I'm ready to race. Bring them on. If somebody calls me out first, whoever you are, I didn't know Cruz could call me out, but he can, and I hope he does. And if it ain't Cruz, I hope only guy I don't want me to call me out is Robert. You know what I mean? We don't want to take away our odds, right? And Robert has a whole lot better odds than me. But what I'm saying is my car, I got a new race car last week they gave me at Brainerd, and I'm working out the bugs in the driver's seat. My car got fast on race day. It was going to run 88, and I just let it, whatever happened, it got over, and I had to click it early, only ran 212. And so, but I'm happy with my team. I'm happy, not happy with me. I'm not where I want to be, and I know how to fix it. I spent about an hour on the phone with Austin Cole yesterday. Take me back to basics, Austin. Take me back to where we came from. When you were teaching me in the beginning, what have I forgotten? What am I doing wrong? And like he says, you're overthinking it. I said, well, I got older and it's getting tougher, but I still think I'm good. I think I'm a great driver. You know what I mean? A few out there will argue that, but I'm ready for the fight. I actually love racing Cruz, but I hope Hagan calls me out, because, I don't want Robert and Caps, any one of those guys call me out, I'll be happy, because you want to get the bad boys early. But let me tell you, down there on the bottom of this pack, there's a sleeper, and I've been beat by all of them. Like, you weren't even in the game. Where did you come from that you could beat me, the 16-time champ? But they can beat you on any day, because what you did in the past don't count. It's what you're going to do in the future. And I just signed a 3-year deal with Pete starting next year. These guys love me, and I'm going to stay in the game. And who knows, how far it'll go. Only time will tell. But I'm excited to be racing them. So whoever picks me, I want to thank you for picking me. If you pick me because you like me and you think I'm great, thank you. If you pick me because you think I'm a slug, well, then I'm going to come after you. And so bottom line, if you pick me, thank you. And if you think I'm a slug, well, then my job is to prove you wrong. And that's what I plan on doing.
See, that's how you're supposed to do it, fellow drag racers. That's all that it's about right there. Say something cool, man, and let us do the rest. And John Force, it's going to be very fun. Brittany's running real well. You're running well. Robert's running well. And that's it. We're just trying to see some exciting drag racing. One more thing before I let you go. Fox came up with a graphic. You might have trouble seeing it where you're seeing, but I'm going to put it on the screen. They can see it. It was about illustrating what you have been trying to explain to all of us for 20 years about rolling in deep and getting yourself hyped up. And they actually put like a little graphic and a little color zone, shallow, deep, deeper. And they showed the front end of yours and Cap's car. And I thought, finally, that's something that makes it easy to understand what we're talking about here, that the starting line is this kind of a magic area where you can do different stuff and use it to your advantage sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But I thought they're doing a good job now of telling that story that you've been talking about for a long time.
Well, I've got out of the car and I've had drivers ask me, why'd you do that? And I go, well, because maybe you made me do it, because you did it to me first. Who knows? But what I'm saying is, it really doesn't matter. You have a right to do anything within the rules that are in the rules. I never do it, but nobody will believe you, because when I get out and tell them, I had a guy that I said to, he goes, why did you put out the top light? And I'm thinking, were we in the same lane? You put out the top light first, and you're bitching at me because I did it. Go back on some of these TV shows, you'll see it. And yet I was blamed for putting out the light because they want to look at me. Hell, I was even blamed for putting out a bottom light. And And that was my fault because I looked over at the other guy who I thought wasn't going in, and then he went in, and then he put out the top light, and he said, he didn't say nothing. A lot of them do get mad, but some are just, they want to race heads up, and I understand it. But what I have to look at is, and Ron Capps got out of the car in one of your interviews, and he says, that's what John Force does because he gets it. He knows how I do it, but he don't even know what happened there. I actually made a mistake. Had a brake problem, couldn't stop the car. Didn't want to put the bulb out. I'm lucky I didn't drive right through it in red light. But nobody will believe you. So It really doesn't matter. I even question myself. Are you bull jiving yourself or you want to believe something? No, I know when I do something wrong. I know when I do something right. So what it is all fair and love and war. But even when they get mad at me, I love them. And some tell me, hey, great job. Some tell me, you're better than that. Better than what? You know what I mean?
Right.
I do what I do to win. So I never try to hurt anybody. That ain't in my mindset. If you're thinking you want to screw somebody up, well, you're only kidding yourself. While you're thinking about that, they'll leave on you. And look at me. I did put out the top light, and Cap still left on me. Didn't bother him a bit. He didn't care if I put out the top light. He just stuck it in there and said, I'm going to do what I do, and kept his focus, and it worked. And that's what I'm going to try to do, is keep my focus. Got 2 big races here at Indy, and, I made some mistakes and had to go back to my guys. I caused this, I caused this lane choice, or I did it because I thought I might need the edge because the other guy's running exactly like me. You know what I'm saying? So if I can beat him out of 5 inches, that might be the difference of winning or losing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. You do it, it's a moment. You don't think about the day before or an hour before. You think about it right when you're doing it. But the truth is, don't think about it. Let you go through what you know from just the emotion, the feeling, and drive the way Austin Coyle taught me. And that's where I'm going back when I get to Indy. You're going to see a different side of John Force when I get to Indy, okay? Because I listened to the best teacher ever, and that was the guy that got me to those 16 championships.
John, you got me all excited, man. Look at me. I'm all excited. Him and Coyle are talking. You're renewed for 3 years. You're going to be, you got this mindset in Indy. Let's end it there, man. I'm going to let you go do your thing. I know you got a ton of work. You're getting all these teams ready to go to Indy. You're going to be there doing all kinds of media, all kinds of stuff. But I appreciate you spending time with our WFO universe. They're happy. I'm happy. And I can see you're fired up. I love the intensity. So thank you for spending time with us here today.
Whoever picks me, thank you for picking me. God bless you.
There you go. All right, John, later. There he goes. Force is ready. How about that, guys? John Force is hyped up. And him and Coyle having a conversation, going back to the roots. I like it. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that what will it translate to in the Pep Boys All-Star call-out for funny cars? What will it mean in the actual eliminator? There are 24 top fuelers, 18 funny cars, 18 pro stockers already ready for Indy. And I see some people battling out there. Oh, well, there's only 24 top fuel dragsters because it's the U.S. Nationals is the biggest drag race in the world. And what kind of a point is that you're making? What are you making? What's the point? Yes, it's the biggest drag race in the world. We got enough for an 8-car consolation field, right? Up the NQ. Let's run them before we run the eliminator. Wouldn't that be great? We don't have time. All right, guys, get your comments in the comment section. What do you think about what Force had to say? What do you think about this Pep Boys All-Star call-out? It's going to be very interesting. Who calls out what? Like, Robert's not going to call out John. We know that. But let's find out what the story is. Get your comments in the comment section while I tell you about a couple of people that do great things that you're going to love, like Frank Hawley and his drag racing school. He's got a program where you can drive a dragster, the Dragster Adventure. $399. You spend a half day with Frank Hawley. You make 3 runs down the track, a half track and 2 full track passes. They come to you like they're out in Maple Grove this past weekend. They come to you, frankhawley.com. Tell them you heard about it on WFO radio. And my buddy Rodak, Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. Coffee, hot sauce, spice rub, barbecues, tools, tips, information. Go to the website, RODAKS, coffeeandgrills.com. And get the coffee roasted fresh per your order. It's so much better than the stuff that most people buy. It's next level coffee. Check it out. Call Marvin. Appreciate him. Torque Calibration Services of Australia. TorqueCalibrationServices.com.au. And if you are down under, you're a racing team down there, call Matt Clark. Connect with him, and he will set you up and take care of your torque calibration, which I keep saying that like it's a thing, but that's very important. It's exactly what it needs to be. Thank you, Matt Clark. And samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Matt, if you were here in the States, like the client base would be different. And maybe Samtech could be one of them. Who knows? Machinists, CNC programmers, motorsport EFI tuners. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Samtech.edu. Call Brian Massengill. Ask for him by name. Bernie Speed Shop. We learned about Bernie's on the show this week. Programming with Josh Hart. It is in the archive on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, click the bell, and start checking it out. But Josh told us all about Bernie's. He started out going door to door as a car detailer. And now he's got like 100,000 square foot shop where they have anything possible. Bernies.com. Go to the website, like them on social, and check out what they do. From frame off restorations to they've got, $5 million in inventory of classic muscle cars there for you to purchase that you could finance right there in Ocala, Florida, when you go visit Garlitz. Phillips Connect, Phillips-Connect.com for the transportation industry, smart trailer technology, just some of the sensors that they can fit. And if you sell trailers or you're over-the-road trucking, Phillips-Connect.com. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. From stock eliminator to Formula One, if you're an engine builder, I am getting ready to tear apart my engine. I'm doing it. Saturday, I think I'm going to do it. And we're going to check out how our 23-year-old Total Seal Piston Rings held up over the years. Go to TotalSeal.com to find out more information. Reach out to Keith Jones, Lake Speed Jr., and be ready for the next Hidden Horsepower podcast. And then there's FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters for the big money bracket racers, .90 racers, or the grassroots guy. Like this is something we learned a few weeks ago. Let's say you're looking for a shift kit for your Turbo 350 on your street car. They do that too, top to bottom. But you can be assured that the stuff you're getting is the highest quality, the stuff that the $1 million winners in the big money bracket races are using. So whether you're just a muscle car guy out there on the street looking for something that's going to make your transmission more efficient, you're a monster truck guy, a mega truck guy, pro mod guy, top sportsman, top dragster, FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters have transmissions that are reliable and dead on the money. Thank you very much. We've also got our Patreons. These are people who are members who kick into the show to support our work, our art, the art that we create. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. Nobody's buying the art thing, Joe. Nobody's buying it, Joe. It's all right. Let's have a little fun with the audience now, guys. You're all, we got some people checking out because Force is done. How about John? Oh, man, the guy, Tasca's been doing such a great job, right? Tasca secretly loves and appreciates John Force for all he's done. The guy is superhuman. He's superhuman at 73 years old to be able to do it and bring it. And what he just did is what you're supposed to do with a call-out race. You're supposed to run with the ball. You're supposed to go with it. If you call me out, that's fine. I love you. I appreciate it, whatever. But if you call me out, get ready because we're going to bring it and we have what it takes to beat you. That's it. Just push back, give a little fun. I spent a little time with the Pro Mod guys this past weekend. We had Ricky Smith on earlier this week. And Ricky was involved in a tremendous controversy out there. And guys were, after each other, saying harsh things about each other. But they all wanted to have a race. They had their bonus race where they could really go crazy. They got into a meme war on the air. And sometimes those Pro Mod guys know how to do it. You're not offending each other. You're just pushing each other's buttons and responding. A little call and response. And you can do that and still maintain respect. All right, Gary says, John's wise and old. Yeah. Everything's relative. 73 is 60. You know how like 40 is the new 30 and 50 is the new 30. Well, 73 is the new 60. These guy can do it. What time's your happy hour show? Blake wants to know when Courtney Enders is going to be on the show is really what Blake cares about. He doesn't care about WFO very much. He cares about Courtney Enders and Jason Logan. 2:00 we start. I can't promise we'll go to 3:30 though. Can't promise that. John keeps the excitement going. I've been watching him for 30 years now. Has anyone watched NHRA.TV, the Sealmaster track walk coverage? For the last 5 races, I get out there and we let the drivers get ready for racing. And I'm out there just hamming it up with the fans, talking to somebody. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? How'd you get out here? Who are you rooting for? And they all say John Force. Every single one of them. They say John Force, which is amazing. Fast Eddie is a Patreon. Thank you, Eddie. Become a Patreon member. Thank you very much. Oh, the Patreons, they're like really, they're going door to door. They're knocking on the doors with people. 15 pro mods on the list right now. Let's hope we get some more. Are the pro mods running at Indy? Yes. Everything for the most part. Glad I got my seats early. Way to go, Bill. You got to get your seats early, man. If you, if you can go to this race, why would you not? One race is worth X. Well, how about 4? Because you have Camping World Series normal event. You've got the Pep Boys All-Star call out for Funny Car. You've got the remnant of the Pep Boys All-Star call out for Top Fuel, which is Steve Torrence, Brittany Force, Justin Ashley, and Mike Salinas in a special bonus race. Brittany gets to call out her competition. She'll do that on Friday night, right? You've got the Dodge Hemi Challenge. You've got the Constant Aviation Factory Stock Showdown. Of course, the Lucas Oil categories. You've got, there's another thing, the Jegs All-Stars. Don't forget the Jegs All-Stars. This is all happening at the U.S. Nationals. If you like drag racing and you live anywhere within 8 hours, like a one-day of Indy, you should go. Woodstock style, guys. Like, drop what you're doing and do something spontaneous. Go to Indy. Now, I'm not saying abandon your family, but go to Indy. Get in the Volkswagen air-cooled bus and go to Indy. That's what I'm saying. No call out, make it a chip draw. The chip draw, I don't know who that is. But I think chip draw has run its course now. I think chip draw has run its course. Like, chip draw. Yeah, okay, got it. See what it is, and it's just okay. What do you get out of the chip draw? You get the shot of a driver walking up to a receptacle and kind of reaching in the receptacle, and then they pull out something and they walk away. And that you get that times however many drivers you have. And then you get the visual of, all right, let's get the number 1s out. The number 1s, and everybody like looks around and you figure out who the number 1s are. And then they come out and what do? And then they shake hands and they give a hug. And then, nobody has ever gone like, yo, sucker. Nobody has ever done that. It's never happened yet. It's all very respectful of the chip draw. So I don't know. I think the chip draw is just like anything. It runs its course. We say it with our pre-race ceremony, guys, like the day that we get them all to jump out of planes at driver introductions. And now 16-time champ John Force. And then he comes in on a parachute and he comes down and he lands. The first time you're going to be super excited. Wow, that thing was crazy. And then the 20th time that they come down on parachutes, you're going to be over it. You just got to mix it up. Everybody's got to be constantly mixing it up. So chip draw. I don't know. I think we're done with that. I think it's gotten to maybe it's close to conclusion. Reinhart thinks we should have a wheel, spin the wheel. Like everybody bring your cars up and spin the wheel, bust the deal, spin the wheel. This guy says John's the king. This guy says 3-year renewal. I hadn't heard that. That's kind of cool. Maybe that was news earlier this year, but way to go, John. Love all of it, says Ant Dog, who rides BMX. He's out there doing rad stuff. And he rocks the WFO on his number plate just to support this show. Maybe we got some BMXers that Ant Dog has brought on. Thank you. It's always great to hear from John Force. Cody, thank you for this amazing show, Joe. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Amazing week leading up to Indy. And it's not over yet. Yeah, we had Leah, and we had Josh, and we had John Force, and we had Reinhart. We had Ricky Smith. Plus the Ignition show, which is pretty great. I'd rather be closer to the finish line. I'm a finish line fan myself. I don't know what prompted that comment there, Sammy, but I like to watch on the stripe. That's my favorite place, especially when it's Lucas Oil Series cars. Lauren, good luck to John at the U.S. Nationals. Keith Kaufman says, drive until you're 90, John. Follow the Greek. Follow the Greek. Very happy to hear John and Austin are still buddies. Yeah. I love that's a great story. John calls Austin. Well, you don't know how great a story it is until the result of the event. John calls Austin Coyle. Get my mind right, Austin. Like, bring me back to when I was new and fresh and all that stuff. How many movies have there been that are like that, right? And Coyle tells him some stuff. You're overthinking it. And then Force catches the brakes and wins the race. That's going to be the story, man. That's going to be a movie. There really should be a John Force movie. Shouldn't there be? I'm going to use my John Force Robert Height sign number plate the rest of the season, Joe. Might bring me some luck. Yeah, exactly. Does John like the current system or do you like the old system? I'm not asking that question. That's tired, Keith. Sorry. But like, it's shaking your fist at the clouds. The system is what the system is. I made a quilt for John a long time ago. I wonder if he remembers. That's a good question. I wonder. Go to Indy. You should ask him. Does anybody know if John's brother Louis is still with us? I think we would have known if we lost Louis. I think Louis lives in Florida. He's smart. He lives in Florida. All right. Getting down to the wire here on comments. Comments run out. Then I'm done. Right? Everybody's saying thank you. Britt, John is always motivating. I'm going to try and channel my inner John Force to win my championship this year. Good job, Britt. Slam and Sam said the chip draw from the Pep Boys call out. All right. What's up, Sam and Sam? Yeah, I don't know, Sam. I'm just feeling like, all right, the chip draw, it was cool for a while, and now we got to come up with another deal. That's Reinhart's idea. Spin the wheel. Bust the deal, spin the wheel. I'm also hoping Greg Anderson gets a win in pro stock. Wouldn't that just be crazy? GA to get 100 at the U.S. Nationals. Yeah, not out of the realm of possibility. I'm the same age as John. His birthday is in May. Mine is in June. I still have a 69 Camaro with a 565 in it. Way to go, Gary. Yeah, if John can keep doing what he's doing, you should be able to do what you're doing. And that's John Force's big thing. He wants to motivate folks. He wants to motivate all you folks out there. Oh, yeah. John Force wants to motivate. So something happened and like things got a little frozen for a second and got me a little paranoid as I'm trying to play my music to get up on out of here. Trying to get up on out of here, guys, and let you guys all go and check out all the great content that we created earlier this day and this week and yesterday. And remember that tomorrow we're going to do a happy hour with Courtney Enders and Jason Logan. Tony Smith. What's up, Tony? Fire! I wonder, will there be jets? We'll have to break out the Jet Car Joe stuff. Yeah, for those that are interested, it's up there in the WFO store. Go to the website. The brand new Steve Brenwald designs. We've got smoke, we've got fire, we've got front, we've got back, we've got front and back, we've got back only, we've got front only. We got all kinds of stuff out there for you WFO radio listeners. And I've been seeing them. People are buying them. They're going off the shelves. Are they flying off the shelves? I don't know if they're flying. But I'm not going to do anything tricky with the show right now. I don't know what happened. But we're ready to rock and roll. Oh, yeah. Love John Force, guys. And the time with John. Oh, look at that. There's a sale in the WFO store. There is a sale going on right now. What is that? 35% off? All right, I'm going to put it up in the chat section. I'm going to put the link in the chat section right now. Go on there, get some WFO gear, get some Morris Motorsports gear. Everything's on sale right now. It's not always. This is a great show, Joe. I watch every time you're on my phone. Thank you, Gary, for watching from your phone. 2 goats, Ricky and John in 1 week. Yeah, we've got a whole, I don't know what a flock of goats is. Is it a herd? Get Kepner back. I would like to get Brett Kepner back. He did something that I agreed with. Yeah, I'm offended. I'm offended by that. Jason Logan's fire thing. What are you talking about? All right, guys. Thanks to John. Thanks to everyone who joined us this week. Remember, Jason Logan, Courtney Enders, quasi happy hour, mid-afternoon happy hour. Why? Because Indy is coming. It's coming. The biggest drag race in the world. It's next week. Be ready. Share our stuff so everybody else can be ready. And thanks to the GOAT. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.